Hey everybody, Kelly Orchard here with another Mustang Monday. How are you today? I am here with you're a new friend.
Yes.
Sofia Warren. We met a few months ago when I had a workshop, the Amplify Your Badass Self workshop with record producer Jason Bronner. Remember that back in November? And Jason asked Sofia's daughter, Gabby, who has a beautiful new song, to perform. And that's when I met you and your gorgeously beautiful daughter.
Thank you.
Gabby, also.
Yes.
And so that's when we met, and we became instant friends because, well, I love music, and I love teenagers, and I love you now.
Yes,
so
I feel the same way.
I'm so happy to have you in the car to give some badass
Thank you. I love
tips
this Mustang.
Thank you. It's
This
fun.
is nice.
It
Thank
is
you
a
for
lot of
having
fun. I love this car. This is my fourth Mustang. I tell stories about how I've had 4 Mustangs, and I'm just a Mustang girl, but this is my 4th one.
It just reminds me of my mom's first Mustang.
Yeah.
I was 15. So my brother got to drive it, but he got to take me around in it. And it was interior white leather, 67.
Ooh.
Yes. Ooh. And then they had that, that dent, the iconic dent of the Mustang.
Yeah.
But it had the red stripe with white.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a cool car.
Yeah.
But I don't think any Mustang is not cool.
Well, there are a few that I'm not too big on. Like the 1980, my very first Mustang was a 1980 Mustang.
Okay.
So it had the Mustang body, but it was a 4-cylinder. So I would call it it was just a glorified Pinto. That's all it was. It was like, oh yeah, it's got the Pinto engine with a Mustang body.
That's my favorite memory.
Yeah. Sorry.
In Kansas City with that Mustang.
Yeah.
And my brother.
Yeah.
Johnny.
Fun. So, okay, is there a song that you can recall listening to? Like, what kind of music would you and your brother have been listening to in that car driving around?
We're talking here 80s, okay? 80s child.
That's all right.
80s child.
80s child.
Prince,
Prince,
Little Red Beret.
Yeah.
Well,
it's Raspberry Beret or a Little Red Corvette.
Little Red Corvette.
So you don't want to be doing a Little Red Corvette in a little Mustang.
Raspberry Beret, that's right.
Raspberry
and the
Beret.
Red Corvette.
Yes.
And lots of Prince, lots of hip-hop. Lots of hip-hop.
Yeah, well.
So, it's the 80s.
Well, that would be late 80s, early 90s. Sorry. Kind of know
Yes.
the
She
genres
knows
and the
more.
eras.
She knows more.
Yeah.
But it's just the hip-hop. A lot of hip-hop and...
hip-hop in a classic Mustang.
Yes, hip-hop. And, of course, the music from England. A lot of the Depeche Mode.
Right. Oh yeah, the 80s had a lot of the from the pond.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of Depeche Mode, Erasure,
Culture Club.
Culture Club. Oh, love Culture Club.
I know my 80s. I know my 80s music.
Yes,
definitely.
Yes. So that's
because I was a radio disc jockey in the 80s. Not because I listened to all of it, but some of it I was forced to listen to.
Yes.
It's like you can't help it when you work in radio.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. So.
Very cool. What would you like to share about about a tip that you have discovered in your span of life?
I think we discuss, I think it's important because it's something that's very relevant.
Yeah.
Is teens. Raising teens.
Raising teenagers.
Yes.
I love this. Yes.
Raising teenagers.
Well, how many do you have? How many kids do you have?
Well, I have 3.
You have 3.
I have 3.
I also have 3.
And then obviously not only raising, our children, but being among teens for many, many years. I worked for the Temecula Unified School District for 11 years as a translator interpreter, but a literacy specialist. Working with second language learners.
Yes.
In the English language department. So I've worked with many, many teens, middle school and high school. And during that time period, I also tutored Spanish 1 and 2 and 3.
So teens are your clientele.
Yes, they are.
That's your clientele. So when we talk business tips, usually we're doing business tips or personal growth tips, but I love this because your clientele are the teenagers.
Yes, they are.
And you're teaching them some life skills just through tutoring.
Yes.
But you're also noticing some things about raising teenagers.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've learned a lot from not only my students that were in the classroom. I'm no longer in the Temecula Unified School District, but I have my own, just started last year, my own tutoring business. But I've tutored, for, 15 plus years.
Yes. So what are some of your tips on raising good teens, and what do we need to do?
I think it's really the foundation that you have and the precedents that you set at home.
Yes.
Your values, that strong foundation, having integrity, that honesty, just a kind heart.
Yes.
You know, my word for this year is joy.
Joy.
So I think in putting joy in everything that you do.
Yes.
And if you teach that,
yes,
to your children, but more importantly, model it.
Yes. I have known a lot of parents who, you know, it's do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
Mentality, you know, and, you know, I was a single mom. So I raised my 3 kids all by myself. And I remember when they were preteen, and I was actually living up in Sacramento. So I don't really talk about that. I was living up in Sacramento. I had no family around at all. It was just me and my kids. Number one, it was a good way for us to we bonded as a unit.
You do.
We really had to depend on one another.
Yes.
And, you know, but the thing is, I remember a friend of mine asking me, you have such good kids. She made the comment, your kids are so good and so well behaved. How do you do it? And I had one simple answer. I love them.
Absolutely.
Just love them. For their flaws, even for their bad behaviors. I'm a psychotherapist. It's like, I got news for you. If a kid is acting badly, it's because they need your attention. You know? And bad attention is just the same as good attention.
There's a reason for it. There's a reason
there's a reason why.
You know, like you said, loving your children, but not only loving them because you think you're loving them, you think you're showing them, but it's really you have to make sure that they realize and they understand, hey,
that it is love.
I am here for you regardless of all your mistakes, regardless of all your so-called failures. That's part of life, you know, and really seeing for who they are.
Yeah. As
individuals, not projecting. I think that's the biggest mistake as parents because they don't come with a guidebook. So we're learning as we're going.
Yeah.
They're
really not like a washing machine with a warranty.
They're very different.
You can't give them back.
You know, I have 3, so they're
very different.
Individual, and kind of learning to love them for who they are.
You know, I'm getting to know you, and we were talking about Gabby and her love of singing.
Yes.
But it was new for you.
She
had to tell you, this is what I want to do, and your response was...
Why? Well, it's so funny because, you know, we tend to project our
desires for our kids.
Our desires for our kids, or that desire that was not fulfilled for whatever reason in life. You know, those dreams or aspirations that for whatever reason you couldn't do it, so you project it and you say, well, one of my children or my child will do it. For me, I was always an athlete. I was very athletic. My husband's very athletic. Yeah. All our 3 kids are very athletic. Right. Especially our son, our oldest son, very talented soccer player. So I was a track star. I loved track. I enjoyed it. And Gabby had just the natural a talent for it. Right. And so I put her in a little track club here locally, and she was running faster than boys. So I was excited. We were going to track meets.
That's good. Then she can run away from them.
Yes. And so it was a lot of fun. And then one of those track meets that, if you know anything about track, they're long. Sometimes your actual race or whatever is not till the end, and then the awards. To be there all day. So you're there from usually like 7 o'clock in the morning till 9, 10 o'clock at night. You know, so they're long. But I loved it, and I thought she loved it, and she liked it at first. And then one of those track meets coming back, it was practically midnight. Coming back from one of those, and she's like, "Mom, can I talk to you?" I say, "Yeah, sure." You know, we were both tired, and she had a great meet, and she goes, "You know, I'm thinking about I don't think it's funny. I don't think I want to do track anymore." Okay, another sport.
Whatever sport it is,
Whatever sport it is. I always believed my kids needed to be involved. Children in general need to be involved in an extracurricular activity.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
You know, performing or visual arts and sports, not everybody's an athlete, and that's okay. But you have to have something else besides just focusing on academics, you know, to make you a well-rounded person. Yeah. And just, it's a good distressor, I have found in kids.
Preaching to the choir, sister.
Yes.
You know,
so I know, it's definitely. So we started talking, and she said, no, not another sport. And I'm thinking, what in the world do you want to do? And then that fear of, she doesn't want to do anything. Yeah. I thought, no, I don't want to have this conversation, because you're going to have to do something.
You're going to have to find a passion.
Something, you know. And out of the blue, she says, I want to sing. And it was a surreal moment, because I said, sing? really? Sing?
Wow.
It wasn't
Didn't
not
make sense.
computing. It just
Right.
wasn't. Nothing
So
came of it.
how old was she at this time?
At this time,
when
she
told you
was
this?
about 12.
No, when she told you she wants to sing. Was that it?
Around 12 years
at 12.
old.
So
Getting close
okay.
to turning 13.
Okay, all right. So then when did she start writing? So because now she's a songwriter.
She is a songwriter.
She's a
and a
published
singer.
recording artist. I mean,
Yes, she
let's
is.
just call it for what it is. This is a little girl who
Yes.
had the confidence knowing that her mother would support her.
And my husband.
And the husband, right?
Yes,
and she said,
absolutely.
I want to talk to you about something. I don't want to be an athlete anymore. I want to sing.
Right.
And now, she was 12, and now she's 17. She just turned 17. So
17,
within
yes.
5 years,
Yes.
this little lady is now a recording artist.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Yes, she is. Which
Yeah.
it's
And I'm going to get her in
circle.
my car soon, too, and she's going to do
Yeah,
something
it
for
was
me.
funny because I never really. It like I said, it was a surprise.
Yeah,
a
surprise.
total surprise. But my husband and I have always been good about supporting our kids and
Well,
whatever they want to follow, whatever path.
And getting on that, because here's the thing: we always want our children to do better than we did. At least
Yes.
most of us do.
Yes.
And I had the same thing with my kids. It's like I had 2 daughters and a son. And I was always a dancer. So I was in dance from the time I was 3. Actually, my mom and dad definitely believed in the extracurricular activities. And me and my older brothers, we all had different interests. One thing that we all did consecutively was we all took piano lessons. So
Yes, I remember
I
taking
don't
piano
really
lessons.
share much about the fact that I took piano for 5 years, and I always blame it on the fact that I have small hands. And once I got to the point where I had to reach a whole octave, it was too much work for me. So that's my excuse. But the thing is that my body just needs to move, and the sound of music, I got to dance. So I can't sit at a piano and dance at the same time. So
Right, I know. The
so,
same
yeah.
for me with music.
So,
I mean, being Latin American, being from South America.
Yeah.
Music is part of our culture, is part of who we are, as
Right.
well as sports,
Yeah.
the soccer.
Yeah.
But dancing, I love to dance. And I love dancing.
So I wanted my girls to be dancers, and I enrolled them into dance class. My older daughter took to it and loved it. My middle daughter, or second daughter, she didn't have the coordination, the rhythm, like my older daughter and I did. And she decided she wants to be a singer, so I got her involved in a singing group. Then, of
Right.
course, that was my son. He played every sport, but I made him stick with one. As a single parent, you also have to commit. Also have to realize you can't overcommit,
No,
because then you're
there's-
all frustrated. And I think that a lot of parents
It's so
do that.
time-consuming.
They overcommit their kids' extracurricular activities to the
Absolutely.
point where they can't even just be kids and use their imagination, because it's the imagination
Yes.
and that's going to help you find what you're passionate about, which is what's going to lead you into what I want to do in the future.
I think sometimes what happens and the reason they overcommit themselves is it's time consuming.
Yes.
I think parents want to overcommit because they feel like, oh, the more they do, the better. That makes them well rounded. Well, not necessarily.
Well, I think it's also, and I can attest to this. Like, if you keep them busy after school, they won't get into trouble.
Yeah,
That's only somewhat true.
Yes, it's a
'cause
myth. It's a myth.
It is a myth. You just gotta use your better judgment. You've got to use your remember what you were like when you were a teenager, and how
Not only that.
all these things. Parenting is a full-time job, people.
Yes,
it is. It's a
And you
full-time
learn
job, and
as
you
you
learn as you
go.
go. And the failures don't have to be so detrimental.
Not only that-
I encourage my kids to celebrate their failures, because it's
And I'm
just
so glad you said that.
because the thing is that once you fail, you know what didn't work. And it gives you an opportunity to improve.
People who really know me will reiterate this is something that I constantly say. Talking about failure, I think as a society and as parents, we're like you said, we're trying to give them everything that we didn't have. That to a certain extent we've enabled these children.
Oh yeah.
And we have not taught kids how to fail.
Yeah.
That it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. These are experiences.
Yes.
Okay, this didn't work out. Okay, what can I do differently?
Yeah.
But then letting the children choose what they're passionate about, what they want to follow, what they want to do, instead of you picking that extracurricular activity or that particular sport.
Yes.
Let them choose.
Right.
So I had to kind of sit back and think, okay, well, and kind of shut myself up and
Listen to her.
And try to figure out where she was going with this.
Yeah.
Because the first question was like, can she sing?
Yeah. Can she even do it? Well, clearly she knew. Well, you know,
Yeah.
I see clients who it's very evident to me that the parents are trying to dictate what they're going to do when they get out of high school.
Yes.
You need to go to college. You need to do this. You need to do that. And it's like, you know, as a psychotherapist, I hear this all the time. I either get the parent who, what do I do about my teenager? Or I get the teenager who's saying, what do I do about my parents? And, you know, and my best advice is you need to follow your dreams. Parents, you can't push your dreams onto your children.
And, you know, and being with kids for so long, day in and day out, I'm seeing the results, the negative results of parents pushing their ideals, their
the negative results, the negative outcome.
Results,
that's really
their
important.
unfulfilled desires or dreams, whatever that may be.
I wanted to be a
children.
singer, or I wanted to be a dancer. You're so lucky that I'm doing this for you.
Right.
And then the
it's
kids are like, I
that they
want to stop
understand
now.
that they're blessed, but if they don't want to do it, they don't want. And clearly, Gabriela did not want to run anymore. She was tired of sweating. She was tired of running, and she wanted to sing. And it's become her de-stressor. The performing and visual arts, which I'm a huge proponent of performing and visual arts. And she loves her songwriting, her poetry writing.
Good.
And she's a very creative person.
Yeah.
And her singing is her way to communicate.
Yes.
Her thoughts.
Creators got to create.
Yes,
you know?
she does.
I'm that way too. It's like creators got to create.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that's the key is looking at your children.
Yeah.
And saying, okay,
who are you?
Who do you want to be?
I love you. I'm gonna love you through this, and we're gonna. Who do you want to be when you grow up?
This is your life.
This is their life. I love that. We're gonna end it on that. It's their life.
Yes.
So support your children and do it in a positive way, and love them. And if you need any tutoring, Sophia will help you on the tutoring of parenting. This is a great tip, Sophia. Thank you so much.
No worries. Just like Kelly said, you said, is love them, guide them, and just be there for them.
But let them have their life,
and
not yours.
And not forget.
Yeah.
Put God first.
Oh, good. Yes.
Put God first, because God will guide you and will. Sometimes you don't have the answers, but He does.
Yeah.
And let them know that they're not alone.
Yes. Okay, everybody, I'm
Thank
Kelly Orchard.
you.
This is my friend, Sofia
Thank you.
Warren. Kelly Orchard, Badass Certifier, reminding you, can you say it with me? Just repeat with me.
Yes.
Reminding you to be bold,
Be bold,
be brave,
be brave,
be confident,
be confident,
be badass.
be badass.